Welcome to Ask the Retoucher. I'm the Retoucher, and if you have a question about working on Photoshop, working with your pictures, using your computer to scan or work on, such as color correct, repair your own photographs, well, this show is just for you. So I want you to get your questions ready and get into our live chat room, because if you're watching this live, you can pop your questions right in there and ask me anything you want to know about Photoshop, and I might know it. If I don't, I will definitely explain that to you, and I will not attempt to lead you astray in some vainglorious expedition with your skills and mind. Now, the schedule for our show, we try to keep it consistent. You're looking at near the end of the month, the third or the fourth week at the end of the month, and we'll have the show, and we schedule it for a half hour, but if we go over that time, I don't mind doing that at all, especially if you have some serious issues that you need to deal with. I want to answer those questions. This show is also for those of you who are my students, those of you who have purchased this course right here, the Photo Restoration and Retouching Foundations complete course. And I picked up quite a few new students at the Federation of Genealogical Societies conference in Springfield, Illinois. And that was a great event. We made lots of contacts and got to teach. I don't know, it seemed like every class I taught, there were 3 classes, each one was full. If you go to our blog, and I will get that on screen for you in a moment, and we will go to the Photo Grafix blog, and you can get there quite easily through the photografix.pro website, photografix.pro, and you'll see the blog right down here, and you click on that and it'll take you right to the blog, and you could do a search if you'd like. But if you're watching this viewing this video around October 2011, you'll see right up near the front page we have all 3 workshops that I did in video, so you can watch these, and if you were at the conference, definitely check it out again just to review what you learned. And of course, if you ever have any questions, you can always post your questions in the comments section of the blog, or you can email them to me at every single, I'd say, if you look up here on our website, every single page has a contact button. So no matter where you click, if you're looking for me, just here's down here, info@photografix.pro, and if you want to look at learning retouching, like, what is he talking about? What is this crazy guy? There you go. There it is again, and click over here, and there it is again. So, there's just no excuse nowadays. If you have a question, especially if you're a student of mine and you bought this course, you spent some good money, so I'm sure you got questions. Don't stay up all night. I tell my students, ask me the question. You have my phone number, you have my email. Some of you even know where I live, so don't hesitate. Ask the question. I will do my best to answer, and I'm sure it's something simple and easy for me to answer for you. So do not hesitate. Well, it looks like we have a few more people signing on, and hopefully some of them are our students. I really encourage you, if you get the course, please tune into the live show so that you can get your questions and take advantage of that free support and that free access to me as your instructor. And we'll be back in just a few moments.
What are layers?
What is resolution?
What is a JPEG?
What is TIFF?
What is RGB?
How do I crop a picture?
What is a zoom tool?
What is a clone stamp?
What are levels?
My name is Eric Basir, and I have produced this unique photo restoration and retouching foundations video course to answer all these questions and more. In my classes and workshops, I have taught hundreds how to preserve and restore their personal photographic collections with Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Photoshop Elements. Now you can have me as your personal instructor in this 10-lesson course. After studying the videos and easy-to-read workbook, you'll finish with a firm foundation of how to use Adobe Photoshop or any other photo editing program confidently and correctly. So, let's get started. I've got so many things to talk to you about. I mean, it's just I had to get this stuff just all together and organized. I met someone named Pat quite a few years ago. He arranged a speaking engagement for me, and in Lee County, Illinois, near Dixon, Illinois, where one of our American presidents, Ronald Reagan, was born. And I had to do quite a few. I think I had to do 2 or 3 workshops in a day. Right, it was tough. But he stays in touch with me, and he sent me an interesting picture. And this is something that has a historical value and has some problems. So let's get that up on the screen here. And I'll go over this here a little bit. He sent me a little note, and I want to read that and share that note with you. Eric, I was wondering if you could help me with another small problem. Some folks came in last Saturday researching their family. We had some old photos for them, and they wanted to purchase copies. I've cleaned up 2 of the 3, but the third is a problem. It appears to be exposed in the front of the picture, but okay near the back. I'm still very new to this Photoshop, so I'm stumped. How to fix this? I've messed with the light levels to no avail. When I get it right, so the stars and the flag can be seen, the guys in the back are very dark. Can you help? Yes. This is what we'll do. Alright. First thing we do is over here, duplicate. I always say duplicate the background layer. Anything I'm teaching you, explaining right now, and it's kind of fast, it's just because it's the live show. But if you ever need, if you ever need to get through to me with your questions, you know how to reach me. Right there is a website. All right. And of course, if you get the course, you can take your time with it. So we're just dealing with this. We're not going to deal with any of the spots at this time. We're going to deal with exposure issues, because you see, this is overexposed, and this is, I would say, properly exposed. Could be vice versa. But since we don't have the negative, we're working with the print. This is what we have to work with. So we have no choice. First thing I'm going to do, and Pat, I don't remember exactly which version you had. I think it was Photoshop 2. There's a couple ways. One way that can be simple for some is called the burn tool over here, and it's right underneath the dodge tool. So I click and hold the dodge tool. It gives me an open little flyout menu. I go to burn tool. Now, it's really important that I set these options properly here. So if we're going to burn shadows. And exposure, you could bring it down a little bit. Let's try 17. Now, I want to actually burn this whole front area. So let's get a nice big brush. I want a soft edge brush. It's got to be 0 hardness. I can hit the bracket key on my keyboard, and it makes the brush very large. It might be hard for some of you to see on screen because of the software tends to give us like a little yellow pointer. But suffice it to say, it's a very big brush. We're maxed out at 2500 pixels for this brush. This is a very large image. Let's go to image size. All right, we're talking, you know, if I go down to 300, this is a you know, 19 by 15 or something like that. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm actually going to cut the size down because it'll slow us down a little bit. So I'm just going to cut it down to 300, and we got a 5x7. I won't need such a big brush then either, and we won't have to hog the processor time on the computer, especially while I'm recording. So we got shadows, exposure 17. Let's just take a nice wipe right through here with the brush. Alright, and we'll go back in our history. We'll undo, redo. Undo, redo. Now you see it was a difference there. So this is obviously not enough. So we can go up to the top where it says exposure, and I'd say double it. So let's go up to 30% exposure. Again, nice swipe right across here, like so. Undo, redo. Now, way to see all of our changes is to simply click on the eyeball, turn off that layer, before, after. Alright. Now I think it's gotten pretty dark. Let's work up here now. Got so many nasty things being introduced with that exposure, but it's certainly much better. Looks like a book up there. Everything's starting to take form, and now I'm making the brush a little smaller. I'm trying to help define the edges here. Let's work on this pylon, this beam here. It looks probably like a basement or something like that, maybe. Maybe not. Looks like some windows. Make a big brush and we'll swipe over here. Alright. So, you know, Pat, this is a great way, and you know, you got this tool also in Elements, and you know, it's pretty easy. Of course, you know, we've got to do the cleanup, and it's the job is just beginning. It's just beginning. But that's what I suggest you do. And then as far as cleanup, you know what to do. You've been experienced, Pat. You've been following my work for a while, and I'm sure you can handle it from here. Because, you know, that was the main thing that you were concerned with. Okay, so I will definitely send that to you if you request it. Let me save it, and I'll give it a nice little R1. Hopefully it will. I've got my permission set for this. I do not. No problem. It's a little technical issue that I have not yet overcome. All right. Okay, so let's close this picture. Let's jump into something else. Now, anybody that's watching live, if you have any questions, please put the question in the chat box. I'd like to answer it. We'll take care of that for sure. Alrighty, so let me see. I'm going to jump to the next one. Now, this is from a wonderful woman that we met at FGS that just has this just really amazing picture, and she has an interesting story behind this. Eric, I talked to you at the end of the FGS conference on Saturday. We discussed photos my dad had taken in China, which were later stained when someone vomited on them. I've attached a sample. I remember it was more gray than the brown that appears in the scan. I enjoyed both of your sessions that I attended. Your enthusiasm and passion for your work are evident, and those are the key factors for success. Thanks for sharing with us. Oh, I guess that one had nothing to do with this picture, that last sentence. But I thought, well, why not? Since I had started reading it, let me finish. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with a picture that has stains on it. Whatever the source was, that's what we're dealing with. I like to see where the damage is done. So I go to the channels palette. I'm going to check the red channel, the green channel, the blue channel. Alright, I think it's pretty much gone through all of them. I think it's probably a little worse. Yeah, it's pretty much in all of them. Maybe we could go to LA BMO. But I think a really quick solution for this is go to adjustments, and we can actually, for older versions of Photoshop, I'm going to take you this way. Okay, we're going to go, I got to show all menu items here. Layer, new adjustment layer. Let's go to black and white. Hit OK. Look in the layer palette. There it is. Okay. Now, let's turn it off. Turn it on. Turn it off. Turn it on. Now what we do is I double click that adjustment layer, and I'm going to click this little button right here with this left and right arrows. And I'm going to find a spot. Like, this is a really bad spot right here. I would click right here and hold and move to the left or to the right to see if I can make it disappear. Now I make it disappear, I have to be careful before or after. I'm not messing with other areas. And I think I've lost some good detail, but then I've brightened up areas too. So I think that's acceptable. Then right after this, to keep it simple, I say let's put on top of that, let's go to layer, new adjustment layer, and levels. And we'll say OK. Alright, and then we bring this black triangle here, and bring the white triangle here. And then right here in the middle we have a gray triangle, which is the midtone, so we can brighten up a little bit more this way, and we can force a little more contrast by bringing it in here. Alright, let's go back to the layer palette, click on the background layer, and then hold the Alt or Option key down, click the eyeball, and it will turn off all those adjustment layers and turn it on. Turn it off, turn it on. Right away, we got rid of stains. From here, you would go and attack those ghastly spots. And there's a lot of ways to go about doing that. You might want to use clone stamp. You might want to use combination with healing brush. And you might use history brush, dust and scratches, Gaussian blur, median. There's all kinds of things you can do to work on that. So I had another topic that I wanted to cover. And I would say this one is what we might consider somewhat of an advanced topic. And it deals with what we call channels. And channels is you can access channels in Photoshop through a palette. And that's the easiest and best way to do it. There's some other backdoor ways, but pretty much this is the best way to do it. It's very visual. And we will get in that in a second. I wanted to let you know that we have a new service that we're trying out to help people, especially local people. When I say local, I'm talking about people living in the Chicago area. If you go to wiseant.com, and I will put a link right here in the chat box. You can take a look if you want, and do a search for number 7824153. This is a great way to hire a teacher. So if you want to, you need some one-on-one instruction, go to Wyzant, WYZANT.com. Search my name, Eric Basir, Basir, or you can type in that convoluted number. It's up to you. We'll try it right. We'll try it right here. So we'll do a search, and we'll try Eric Basir. Hopefully, it will come up with something. Up there he is, Eric B. And here's Eric R, who loves math, and he wants to help you love it too. And he's in the Chicago area, and here I am. My picture should be up there soon. I did upload something, but I want you to check out this site. And if you're in the area looking for some live instruction in the house or at your office, that's one way to do it. So now we'll go into what we call channels. And I grabbed a couple pictures, and I'm not too sure if they'll apply, because there's so many ways to fix pictures and problem pictures. And here's one, and you know, you never know with a digital camera, especially a little camera in your phone, like this picture I made from my phone of my garden. This is a very kind of bright green, and sometimes working in channels can help. Now, we were talking about channels a little bit in a previous photo a few minutes ago. Here I wanted to show you close up the channels palette or channels panel, whichever version of Photoshop you have. It's now called channels panel. And we'll click on the red, the green, and the blue. And of course, you see how green it is, how intensely green, and you can see something going on in there. So I like to work in channels when all else fails, and I think this is a candidate for all else fails. And we'll click on layers right there, and I'm going to jump into what I call my advanced mode, and I'm going to work in curves and make sure got my highlight there. I know this is a white object up here in the sign, and I know these stones are white. But actually, I want to go to the midtones, because there is contrast already established in the picture. And I know there's some rocks, some gray rocks here and whatnot. So when I click on the one of these stones, I'm kind of, especially in the shadow areas, I'm getting some interesting results that are actually a little more accurate than the photo is. See, right here it kind of looks like you're in a fish tank. Here there's yellows. Okay, there's life in the green. Again, it doesn't look like a plastic fish tank. I can click up here in the sign, and I've actually brought it back towards the green a little bit more. Not sure I'm happy with that. Now you should understand that color correction is pretty much a subjective endeavor. You know, what I think is good, someone else may say, no, there's something wrong with that, and here's what it is. So the idea behind color correction is to create pleasing color, something that is pleasing to the eye. Now, we were looking before, and obviously, at least in my opinion, this is not pleasing. This is not pleasing color whatsoever. This is closer. Now, there's a lot of intensity going on here, and, you know, saturation. Speaking of which, let's go and try a hue and saturation layer. And let's see what happens if we just pull all the saturation out completely. We have a grayscale image. And we pull out a little bit, it looks kind of flat. And that's because we're pulling it out of all the channels. Now here's what I was talking about, kind of a backdoor way of working with channels. And when you're working in the hue saturation dialog drop-down menu for the channel, we're going out of master channel, and let's say we'll go into green. Pull out saturation there. And before, after, before, after. So you look over here in the asparagus ferns and up here in the hedges, it pulled out a lot. But then up here in these trees, there's something nasty going on. So I think that's too much. So we can leave it at 50. Let's go to cyan. See what happens when we pull all that out. Nothing. Let's see if we go to the blues. Pull all that out. Little bit here. If you look up here in the leaves, you see a lot of that blue light from the sky. I actually leave that out. I like that. Magentas, there's nothing there, but it's always good to take a look anyways. You know. Red, maybe a little bit. No. Yellows, you know, we went sort of with that, and we didn't like it. Now, one thing you could do is lighten up the yellows. So bring the lightness slider up a little bit as you pull it out. But I don't think that that's pleasing at all. It's quite drab. So this is a high noon. I think this was like in the middle of the summer. Look at the intensity of that light. It is just the sun is just beating on top of everything here in this image. So let's look at before, after. Okay, we're making some progress here. Now I've noticed that when I go in the channels, I go red, green, blue. I'm wondering if I can get some detail into that green channel. Well, here's where we go. This is what we do. We're going to go really, I'm going full advanced for you. So those of you who are just beginners, hey, just enjoy the ride. Let's go to image. I got to show duplicate, and we're going to duplicate this image. I'm going to make it merged. All right, and I'm going to call this source. Source. Okay, and it flattened the layers because I told it to. I'll go to image mode, CMYK, color. And I say, yeah, just swap it. And now we'll go into channels. We got cyan, magenta, yellow, black. Something in there. And what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to see what happens here. I want to take out of this black channel and blend it into the see what happens if I put it into the green channel. Okay, so what we'll do, go to image, apply image, and our source is going to be called source. I just named it source. Alright, go black, yellow, yeah, that was really nasty, magenta, cyan. Very interesting effect right here. Bring the opacity down a little bit. So what I did is I just took out of the source, I just took some of the cyan channel from the source and put it into the master, to the RGB right here. And it kind of interestingly brought up contrast, but helped the green a little bit. Not too satisfied with that look, but it's doable. Let me hit cancel though. So let's go to green channel. This is just a green channel right here. Let's try apply image. And our channel is green. And our source, actually, we want to make it black, and we're going into the green. We'll make it 100% at multiply, and let's hit OK. It gave an interesting balance, that's for sure. So let's go before, after. I got, and I was hoping to get some red in there, but it's a little too much. It's a little too fake looking. But I wonder if I just put in maybe I'll take the black, put it in there. Let's go 50%. Hit OK. Before, after. See? Look in the shadow areas. It's not so heavy green in there now. In these shadow areas. Out here in the middle, you don't see much of a difference. But in the shadow, look how much more realistic it looks in the trees over here. In these shadows. It's all about pleasing color. Again, this is an awful picture. So let's try another thing that I just keep wondering about. So I want to try it. This has not had anything to do with channels. This is called layer blending modes. But we'll duplicate the background layer. And then over here, we go to, we change the blending mode from normal to multiply. All right. And then we drop the opacity down. Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. I'm not those yellows. You see, there's a lot of contamination. So when you have color contamination, a clue is look at what you know is yellow or what you know is green, and try to find what color is in there that's messing it up. All right. So I'm looking at these yellows. So there's another neat function that we can try called selective color. And so I'll make sure that I'm on the uppermost layer. I'm going to add a new adjustment layer. And we're going to selective color. And we go to yellows. And I'm going to pull out all the cyan from the yellows. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. By doing that, I'm pulling out a lot from all over. Okay? I've lost control of it. So let's do this. Let's go to layer. We'll click on background copy. Let's get close. We'll go to select color range. We'll click on the yellow spots. Make our fuzziness, I think that's pretty good right there. Hit OK. And then let's feather it a little bit. You'll see now we have a selection built around there. And we'll feather it. Soften the edges of it with the feather. Okay. Now we go back to the selective color layer. And we invert our selection. Let me see if I get this right. You know what we're going to do? Let's delete the selective color layer. Now we're good because we got the selection. It'll force a nice little mask. And image adjustment, selective color. Well, I have to do it over here now. So go down here with the half white, half black circle. And we will go to selective color right there. All right, go to the yellow channel within selective color and pull out cyan. Yeah, much better. All right, so here, before, after. Let's go look in there some more. I think that getting that cyan out really helped. Let's see what happens if we add magenta or pull it out. Let's see, we add a little bit. And we add some yellow on yellow. Let's see what happens with that. Ooh. What happens if we pull out black? I'm always curious about that. So add some black in there. Okay. Alright, so let's go back down here to background layer, and now we're going to look at our progress. Let's check your progress, whatever way you want to do it. But I like to click on the background layer and Alt Option click the eyeball before, after, Not bad, not bad. You know, I've worked with worse, and it is pretty nasty. Some other things we could do, but I think, you know, suffice it to say, we have a lot of information for you right there in everything I did, and I don't want this to be, hey, look at what I can do show, rather, hey, look at what possibilities you have. So I have received no questions, and that means that everybody knows exactly what they're doing. And I am very glad to know that everyone else knows how to do it. Nevertheless, if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I think our next show will be will be in November. So make sure you join the email newsletter mailing list at photografix.pro. If you're watching this live, you'll actually see it on the ticker. If you're watching it on YouTube, look in the caption, the description of the video. And I will definitely try to always come up with more and more interesting things. If there's subjects and topics you want me to deal with, let me know. Let me know, and I'll be more than happy to deal with those topics. My name is Eric Basir with Photo Grafix University, and this is Ask the Retoucher.
What makes a good scan?
What is a selection?
What are layers?
What is resolution?
What is a JPEG?
What is TIFF?
What is RGB?
How do I crop a picture?
What is a zoom tool?
What is a clone stamp?
What are levels?
My name is Eric Basir, and I have produced this unique photo restoration and retouching foundations video course to answer all these questions and more. In my classes and workshops, I have taught hundreds how to preserve and restore their personal photographic collections with Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Photoshop Elements. Now you can have me as your personal instructor in this 10-lesson course. After studying the videos and easy-to-read workbook, you'll finish with a firm foundation of how to use Adobe Photoshop or any other photo editing program confidently and correctly.